Hey everyone, welcome back to In the Alley. My name is Cody. Glad you guys are back for another video. Off-season update number 4. We have a lot of stuff to talk about, so let's go talk about it. All right, let's get this started with 2026 player tryouts. Always trying to make sure that, try and keep stuff updated so players have an opportunity to showcase their skills, and whoever watches this, coaches, players, scouts, whoever it is, just another opportunity. I've harped on this on Shady Sports and things. Like, I want to try and make sure that we are giving as much information out as we can for the players, for the coaches, and making sure that obviously the Indoor Football League can get enough players. Not like there's a shortage or anything, but the players of the talent to go and do what they can. So first things first, I know I'm all over the place already and we just started. First things first though, January 3rd. This has been on the schedule for weeks, if not months at this point. Vegas, Green Bay, Fishers, there's plenty of other teams. We talked about it on Shady Sports the other day. 5 Indoor Football League teams, 2 Canadian Football League teams. I think the Omaha Beef of the NAL, plenty of other teams. All the reindeer, Santa's reindeer, are going to be there after Christmas is over. So a bunch of people showcasing players, coaches, scouts, anything and everything. So it's going to be a huge ordeal for January 3rd. It's going to be in Michigan. You can contact Mike Davis. You can do all of that stuff. The information's all there. If not, you can go to Nighthawks or the Vegas Nighthawks website. You can go to, I'm sure Green Bay and Fishers have it on theirs as well. If not, Vegas is the place to go. So first things first with that. The next one I want to talk about is a week later, January 10th, Tingley Coliseum. The New Mexico Chupacabras are having open tryouts to fill out their training camp roster as they get to the 40 players. And then obviously they're going to whittle that down just like every other team. But yeah, New Mexico having another open tryout. I think this is their second one, if I'm not mistaken, because they had one not too long ago. So being able to do that, obviously, as the graphic says, go to chupacabras.net. Opportunity to sign up there and showcase your skills if you're, I was going to say in the Southwest, but people travel. So you can be anywhere, Canada, Europe, I guess, if you want, Mexico. I know there's Mexican football, European football. So if you think you have what it takes to play for the Chupacabras, go over there. Finally, March 1st from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m., I believe that is Arizona time, you will have an open player tryout for the Northern Arizona Wranglers, and cutting it kind of close before the start of the season. They don't play week 1, so you have an opportunity to really get in there at the last minute before Northern Arizona hits training camp, really starts whittling down. So maybe the last impression is the best impression. We'll see how that kind of goes. I know Northern Arizona already has quite a few players signed to their roster, so just adding a couple more here, we'll see how that goes. But plenty of teams still going through open tryouts between January to March. You'll probably see a couple more pop up here and there. There have already been plenty of teams in the Indoor Football League that have had their open tryouts, so the more the merrier it is. Here we go. Let's move on. We've got a roster update and then the big news we have to talk about.
From each lip, and he's here to do some business with a big iron on his hip.
All right, as is tradition, roster roundup, roster update. This might be a couple days off. There's obviously players that I miss, things along those lines, so it's as accurate as I can make it. A through Z, you know the drill. We've already done this 3 times and years prior, so let's dive in. No changes to the Arizona Rattlers from the last offseason update. I forgot to put Hayden Hatcher in there, but I'm not going to highlight him. He is a linebacker. He's right there in the middle of the linebacking core. I completely forgot to put him in there, so that's really the only new thing that I personally have, but he's been signed for a while now, so I'm not going to showcase it, but nothing new for Arizona. For the Fishers Freight, only 2 things to speak of. CJ Parrish has been signed, former Quad City Steamwheeler, to add to the depth at the defensive back position. And then in the injury call-up or other list, Cam Hunt has been added to the league injured reserve. Other than that, not really much on the Fishers Freight. Just 1 signing and 1 player moved over to injured reserve. So let's move on to Iowa. For the Iowa Barnstormers, 3 signings to speak of. Tyler Stevens added to the wide receiving core, Jared Bronson added to the offensive line category, and then finally Cecil Cherry, former Arizona Rattler, and I believe San Antonio Gunslinger if I'm not mistaken, but he's been in the Indoor Football League before, so adding some more veteran depth to the linebacking position for the Barnstormers. Other than that, not really much to speak on here as we're kind of slowly getting to the 40-man rosters of each team. So let's go check out Green Bay. quite a few signings here and a little bit of player movement down below for the Green Bay Blizzard as their font just gets smaller and smaller. So you might need to zoom in on this one if you're on a mobile device. Liam Thompson signed at the quarterback position, yet another Bay Area Panther. Walter Wilbon III to the running back room. Drayshawn Hudson, former San Diego Strike Force, Sioux Falls Storm. He's been around for a while. He is a veteran of the game, indoor and arena. And then in the defensive secondary, Najai Nider and Giovanni Waller, I hope I pronounced that correctly, are added into the secondary. And then in the injury call-up and other list, Timothy Robinson and Mamadou Mbai are added to the league injured reserve. And that's really it. I mean, you've got a lot of players for Green Bay, and they're going to start whittling that down in the next coming months. But Liam Thompson is probably the biggest name. Drayshawn Hudson in there too. We'll see how that goes. But Green Bay, they look to be reloading after falling short in the championship game last year. So we move on to Jacksonville. Jacksonville with quite a bit of player movement here. Lowell Patron added to the wide receiving room. That adds a little bit of some veteran presence to go with Karan Ashley. Malcolm Lamar kind of rounds out that offensive line. You at least have 3 offensive linemen now, so at least you have 3 starting offensive linemen. We'll see how many more they add between now and obviously the start of the season, the start of training camp, so they got to fill that out. Defensively, Devontae Davis is added to the defensive line room. Trey Pinckney is in the linebacking category, with Dylan Brown rounding it out in the secondary for the Sharks. So adding players at roughly every single position, it seems. They've already got their quarterback room filled out and the running back room as well. Those are going to be a very good 1-2 punch. And the injury call-up and other list, Marcus Rogers and Jay Davis are both exempt and going to the CFL, so congratulations to those guys. Hopefully they can stick it out and make a roster in the Canadian Football League. Added to the suspended list, and I just combined all of these, Lacaria, Pleasant, and Johnson, along with Leon Brown and Dominic Jackson. They are all suspended, which means they're off to another league, it seems. So with that, a lot of movement for the Sharks as they continue to round out their roster. We move on to the Chupacabras. For the New Mexico Chupacabras, they have signed quite a bit of players as they are slowly rounding out their roster as well. Braden Wingle added to the quarterback room to back up Jerome Johnson. In the wide receiving room, Isaac Crocker and TJ Hammonds. Crocker is a veteran of the game. He was with San Diego at one point. Was he with Fishers? I can't remember, but he has played, obviously, in the Indoor Football League before. Michael Goss Jr. and Chris Smith round out the offensive line room. Chris Smith, I'm sorry, your name is too common. Didn't know where you went to school at, so I do apologize. Quinlan Luster, again, same thing. I don't think he actually went to college, and if he did, I can't find anything on him. His name is misspelled in the transactions page because it's Quinkin, I believe, and I could not find anyone named Quinkin. So it's the best I could find there. Linebacker Jason Serta is signed. He is a veteran of the game with Duke City before they went dormant and all of that stuff. So adding him back is going to be a huge locker room presence and a very, very familiar face when it comes to New Mexico and, prior Duke City. Thomas Reed III rounds out the linebacking room, and in the secondary, John Washington is added. Again, a very common name, and I found Wilkes for D3 or NAIA, so I hope that's the right John Washington there as well. Just very common names across the board for some of these guys, so kind of hard to figure out the college stats and stuff like that. Anyway, that's what we have for New Mexico. They've got quite a few signings all around. I think Braden Wingle as well, going back to that. I think he was signed for a couple of games or something last season. Cannot remember who he was with or if it was 2 years ago. But anyway, a lot of players to talk about. Let's move on to Northern Arizona. Just the one signing for Northern Arizona, Zachary Vincetti, however it's pronounced. If you're Italian, it could be pronounced differently. You get the ch or the s when that C is right there. So I don't know which way it is. But anyway, defensive lineman, and I'm going to call him Vincetti because that sounds cooler. Zachary Vincetti is signed. Everything else for the Northern Arizona Wranglers stays the same as we kind of just await their open tryout in a couple of months. But other than that, not really much to report on when it comes to the Wranglers. Let's move on to the Pirates. For the Orlando Pirates, just 4 signings to speak of, but a couple of them do bear some weight. Thomas Owens re-signed for another season, and I thought he was retiring, but apparently not, so he is re-signed, and whether or not he's retiring from Massachusetts, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, either way, he's re-signed for another year, which really helps out that wide receiving room. And Jordan McRae re-signed on the offensive line. It's a pretty good pickup right there. Devin Brandt Epps, a rookie, I believe, coming in from New Mexico to help the defensive line. And finally, Axel Perez coming from Bay Area over to Orlando. Rob Keefe clearly seeing something from his former team, saying, hey, let's come kick some deuces and some drop kicks over here as we get Orlando going. So, not a lot to speak on, just a couple of signings. Let's go speak on the Quad City Steamwheelers. For the Quad City Steamwheelers, just 3 signings to speak of. Added to the running back room, Trenton Barnes to go with Jared Ware and Jarius Burnett. Into the wide receiving room, Jazaric Peterson is added, former Green Bay Blizzard, former Bay Area Panther. Man, he's been around. He's been around for quite a while. I think he was with Arizona, maybe Tucson for a minute too. So he has been around for quite a while. A very good return man, a sneaky good player. I'm not, all things considered, sneaky good. And then finally, Alex Harriott is added to the linebacking room. He is the only linebacker signed for the Steamwheelers. Other than that, everything roughly remains the same for Quad City as they look forward to 2026. Let's go take a look at San Antonio. For the Gunslingers, a couple of signings and then a little bit of player movement at the bottom. Todd Simmons Jr. comes over and adds to the wide receiving room. He has been everywhere, man. He has been everywhere. Name a league he hasn't been is probably the better thing to speak of, but he is added to San Antonio. We'll see how that goes, if he can crack the roster, because they've got quite a few players signed already into the wide receivers. Tate Jenkins comes to the offensive line, and that's kind of lining up to be a pretty good battle to see who is going to make the cut there for San Antonio on the offensive line. Same thing with the defensive line. A lot of veteran presence on the defensive line. Lee Autry is added from Vegas of last year to go up against Terry Beckner, Gabe Smith, Jack Daly, Jalen Williams. I mean, it's a very talented defensive line room. We'll see how that goes. And then finally, the injury call-up and other list. Jalen Robinson and Ellison Jordan have been put on the physically unable to perform list, the big old pup, and we'll see if they can get off of that. We don't know the extent of their injuries or things like that, so we'll see how that goes up into 2026 when we start the season, if they get off the list or if they have to ride the bench for a little bit as their injuries heal. So that's where we have it. Let's go take a look at the San Diego Strike Force. Good news for me, at least. San Diego doesn't really have anything to speak on from the last offseason update to this one, so you can just pause it right here, take a look, zoom in. The font is very small, and yeah, there you have it. Let's go take a look at the Tucson Sugar Skulls. For Tucson, not a lot to speak on, just one signing and one player movement. Kerry Reynolds brought over to the offensive line from Tulsa. I believe he was with Quad City at one point. He has been in the game for quite a bit, so when I say quite a bit, that's relative, because if you've been in the Indoor Football League for a year, I know it's not the veteran rule, but I pretty much consider you a veteran at that point, so you're not a rookie. There you go. Kerry Reynolds coming over, and then finally injury call-up and other list. Cortez Eatman suspended. He has been signed in another league, so we'll see how that goes. I don't know if he's allowed to come back, stuff like that. You know how those rules go, so we'll see. But just the one signing, one player movement for Tucson. Let's go take a look. Tulsa Oilers. For the Tulsa Oilers, one signing to speak of. Mark Shepard is added into the secondary room. Other than that, not really much else when it comes to the Oilers. They've had a couple of players get released, things along those lines. I don't really speak on releases. I mean, they signed somewhere else, I'll speak on it, but player gets released, you get released. There you go. Anyway, that's it for Tulsa. A lot of players signed, and we'll see how it goes for them. Let's go take a look at Vegas. Finally, for the Vegas Nighthawks, just two signings to speak of. Seneca McKee and Charles Turner from the wide receiving room and the offensive line room, respectively. Just adding more depth, adding more players to that training camp roster to see how it gets whittled down. We'll see how it goes for Vegas as they look to continue to defend that title. As each day that goes by, they continue to defend said title. But that's where we have it. Vegas, not too many signings, not a lot of signings for quite a bit of teams this go around in the offseason update. That's where we just kind of have it. Let's go talk about the big elephant in the room, the deal with Yahoo Sports. All right. So here we have it. The big news, the second big news after the FanDuel announcement and everything along those lines. The Indoor Football League a week or so ago teased the number 59, 119 minus 60 equals 59. and they had a golden opportunity to do bad math and put a 6-7 reference out there, and I'm sure people would have lost their minds. However, 59, the total amount of games that needed to be picked up after the FanDuel announcement, and Yahoo Sports has done that. Yahoo Sports is with the Indoor Football League for the 2026 season, and it is, in my opinion, a very, very good pickup because it's streaming, it's free, it's everything. I'll talk about it all in here in 1 second, but we'll talk about this press release first from the Indoor Football League website. Yahoo Sports, C15 Studio, and the Indoor Football League are teaming up to bring live football broadcasts to Yahoo Sports Network, the new streaming TV channel available on leading FAST services and Yahoo Sports TV. Yahoo Sports Network, operated by C15 Studio, will be the exclusive home for 59 live Indoor Football League games in 2026, including a selection of marquee Friday and Saturday night contests, 2 first-round playoff games, and the Eastern Conference Championship. So those 2 first-round playoff games, I believe, are going to be, and I don't have concrete evidence, but I'm believing they're going to be the Eastern playoff games. So the Eastern Conference stuff will be on Yahoo, which leads me to believe that when they've already announced the Western Conference Championship and the Indoor Football League Championship for FanDuel will probably get the 2 Western Conference first round games when it comes to that, which means there's no change to the playoffs here. 14 teams, 8 teams total, 4 from each conference. So nothing really changes. We'll just see how the tiebreakers goes. That's the story for another day. Finally, produced by the Indoor Football League, the broadcast will be available wherever Yahoo Sports Network is distributed. This includes FAST services such as Amazon Fire, Fubo, LG channels, Plex, Prime Video, Sling Free Stream, and the Roku channel, as well as YahooSports.tv, a comprehensive web destination for Yahoo Sports. I can literally just type in Yahoo Sports on my computer, pull it up, stream is there. That's how simple it is to get here. You can look it up on your Roku if you want it on your big 50, 60, 70-inch TV. Same thing with Prime Video if it allows, Amazon Fire Sticks, things like that. So there is no way that you can't go and get this. I know some people are very stuck in their ways. People still have old TVs, but it's as simple as getting on a laptop, getting on a computer, getting on your phone, and just typing in Yahoo Sports, and you should be able to stream this. Easy peasy. We still need concrete clarification from FanDuel on if their stuff is going to be paid for or not. It should be free if I still am reading that right, but we'll talk about Yahoo here. Big thing as well, we have Yahoo commentators that are going to be going from pretty much what they do on Yahoo Sports. They will be helping call select Indoor Football League games as previously mentioned. So Nate Tice, Carolyn Fenton, and Jason Fitz added to calling these games and pretty much helping grow this game on Yahoo Sports. Press release with this. The Indoor Football League today on Tuesday, that select 2026 matchups airing on Yahoo Sports Network will feature an all Yahoo Sports broadcast team, adding national voices and fresh perspective to the league's expanding media footprint. Calling these select IFL broadcasts will be play-by-play host Jason Fitz, analyst Nate Tice, and sideline reporter Carolyn Felton, a trio known for high energy coverage and the deep ball insight across Yahoo Sports platforms. The first game of the 2026 season, Quad City and Fishers, will feature the full Yahoo Sports broadcast crew on the call, bringing a polished national presentation to the league's opening kickoff. So, as I've mentioned on Shady Sports, and I think I mentioned it in the previous offseason update, FanDuel is going to cover the Indoor Football League Championship rematch between Green Bay and Vegas, and then you're kicking off the season with this. So Quad City and Fishers on Yahoo will be the very first game that people will see. So a lot of pressure on that production right there. And then you go into FanDuel the very next night for that. So you're going to get your premier matchups week 1 with those 2 games on the docket. The only 2 games in week 1, that's where you have it. So we will see very quickly what bugs there are, what kinks need to get worked out, things along those lines. If it goes off without a hitch, the bar will be set. So we've seen the Indoor Football League Network, we've seen YouTube, anything and everything else. We have seen so many bugs, we have seen so many glitches, things like that. So pressure's on right there to make sure that the quality of the stream, everything is good. It's something I've harped on about for a long time. HD streams, 4K streams, whatever the case could be, this is going to be something. I'm not going to poo-poo it. I'm not going to, talk down on anything. It is a wait and see moment. This could be something very, very good for the Indoor Football League if it goes off without a hitch. Now, with that being said, I will wait to make that stuff. I'm not going to talk down on it. I'm not going to praise it. I'm going to wait and see how it goes, and we go from there. But overall, this overall deal is great. I'm a little skeptical about FanDuel, but we'll see how that goes too. If it's all free and you don't have to do that, then FanDuel is great. A lot of people are going to go to that. A lot of people, I mean, you have a Yahoo email address, you get on Yahoo. Some people do, some people don't. But I think Yahoo is the second search engine behind Google. So if you don't use Google, you probably use Yahoo, maybe DuckDuckGo, but now I'm going off on a tangent of search engines. Either way, it's easy to get on Yahoo. Simple as that. I'll push it. I'll be the shill. I don't care. But this is a very, very good thing for the Indoor Football League and its teams and its players, its owners, its coaches, its everything. This is monumental. Like, YouTube is one thing, which I always harp on that, but this is something very, very good. The deal that got worked out with this, you have to give respect and you have to give kudos to Todd Tryon and everyone in that front office that helped iron out this deal with Yahoo, with FanDuel and everything, because no other league is doing this right now. You've got Vice, you've got Vire or whoever, Green, what have you, and that's okay for the other leagues and stuff like that, but this bar has been set. This bar has been set, and we'll see if any other league can come close to it, because truth be told, I don't think that this sport will ever get back on like cable when it comes to like ESPN or even network TV. Like, there will not be NBC premiering it like they did the AFL way back in the mid 2000s. This is probably the next best step, at least in my opinion. This is the next best step, and a lot of people can view it. It's free. You just have to go to it. Simple as that. Type in Yahoo Sports, click it, click the play button. Easy. It should be as easy as that. And then with the Indoor Football League Network, the games after they are played should be put on there for archive, and you can go back and rewatch that. Whether or not that's going to cost money, that's a topic for another day. So Yahoo Sports, Indoor Football League, this is something really, really cool. So I'm excited for it. I will praise it a little bit. I will also have my concerns and criticisms when they come out, if they come out. Bar's been set. Let's see if they hit it. So 2026 can't get here fast enough. I am ready for it. We move on. Let's go tackle some odds and ends and get on out of here. All right. So some odds and ends, the ever-growing detectiveness, if that's even a word, of where these potential neutral site games are going to be held when it comes to, I can't remember the week, but it's New Mexico, Orlando, Vegas, and Arizona. It's going to be New Jersey. First of all, kind of confirmed by Love Football on Arena Fan as Joyzy, with the nice accent there. But when you go to the ECHL website, the Utah Grizzlies are relocating because the Utah Mammoth of the NHL have pretty much said, hey, we own Salt Lake City now, so get the hell out. And Utah, and it's not like that, but the Grizzlies now of the ECHL are like, all right, fine, we'll find different owners and relocate. Here we have their press release from a few months ago. Professional ice hockey is returning to Trenton, New Jersey, and they'll be playing at the Cure Insurance Arena for the 26-27 season. So that's leading me to believe that this is yet another ECHL ownership. If Love Football is saying New Jersey and has said East Coast and Jersey a couple of times on the forums on Arena Fan, and then you just go back a couple months, and this is what it has for the Utah Grizzlies relocating out here. I've mentioned this, the Jersey Flight, I believe, played out there. The Philadelphia Soul were supposed to play here when the AFL reboot just fizzled, so the Dallas Falcons will have a long place to travel. But it looks like the Cure Insurance Arena is where we're going to be having it in Jersey. If it's not that, then yeah, I apologize. I'm not saying that this is concrete either, but that's just kind of where we're going to have it, in my opinion, which begs the question, mass relocating. If you're putting a team in New Jersey, you almost need a second team up there to be a travel partner, which maybe we have a second partner. We just don't know about it yet, but I think this one's going to get announced probably sooner rather than later, if not by at least before the start of the season, because I know Todd Tryon has said multiple times he wants teams to have a very long runway when it comes to season ticket drives, when it comes to marketing, when it comes to sponsorships, when it comes to a bunch of stuff. And maybe that stuff's already being done behind the scenes that we don't know about, and all of that stuff. If they've already set up these neutral site games, they've already got this stuff pretty much ironed out, and all they have to do is announce it, that means that something is clearly in the works. So I think New Jersey's on the docket. We'll see if another team comes along. I'm hoping it is, because again, Tryon has said he loves even teams, so you have even number of teams, so you have even number of conferences, and there's no one that needs a bye every single week. So that way you can easily schedule and do the home dates and stuff like that. So whether or not that comes to fruition remains to be seen, but it would not shock me one bit if New Jersey and another team, whether it is on the northeast coast or whether they move it down towards the mid-Atlantic and even towards the southeast area, if there's another travel partner for Orlando and Jacksonville, whatever the case could be. I don't know. Obviously, Greenville, South Carolina has been rumored for quite a while. I've also heard rumblings of Bloomington, Illinois, where the Bloomington Bison of the ECHL play. They are also, I believe, owned by the Indy Fuel. That one, grain of salt. I've only heard rumblings of that, but I've heard Greenville quite a bit, and I'm not trying to speculate, do whatever, but you hear it so much, and it's either going to be something that's like, okay, worst kept secret, or you talked it up for nothing. So, and that's where we have it. Final thing I do want to talk about, it's kind of cool. We did this last year with Jacksonville. They suited up as the North Florida Ospreys for a game. North Florida does not have a football team. Green Bay will be doing the same. The Green Bay Phoenix will be taking the field for the first time. The Frozen Phoenix, the Blizzard will suit up as the Green Bay Frozen Phoenix for a game on April 18th. I believe that is against the Iowa Barnstormers, so a little bit of a rivalry there. And I think it's cool. I really do. Having teams like dress up as the college, and there's a partnership there. So having teams dress up like that, and North Florida and Jacksonville are the same way too. So I really like the idea of getting the local colleges, teams, players, administrations, and things like that, get all of that stuff involved. The more marketing, the more exposure that you have with these teams, with these schools, with all of it breeds positivity. It breeds the, hey, we're doing things in the right direction. Green Bay's been doing things in the right direction for quite a long time too. Jacksonville as well. So plenty of teams take a page out of this book. If there's a local school around you that does not play football, sign them on. And it would be really cool to see this against North Florida, then have Jacksonville and Green Bay play each other as two colleges that have never played football. There you go. Well, I wouldn't say never, but you know what I mean. Like, it'd be cool to have that to be, the Frozen Phoenix versus the Ospreys for a game. That'd be really cool. But that's where we have it. Let's go wrap everything up. Let's get out of here. All right, that is it for me. Talked way too long in this one, it seems. I'm trying to not make these hour-long things and trying to get as much information I can and condense it down a little bit, but then I also don't want to lose the information. So, yeah, that's what you can do. But that is it for me. I'm sure there's obviously more information to come out between now and obviously the start of the season. So be on the lookout for off-season update number 5. There'll be more roster updates, maybe even more stuff that we don't know about. We still need times for the schedule. We'll probably figure out who is the marquee matchups between. Once we get the times done, we'll figure out who the marquee matchups and stuff like that are for FanDuel, the matchups for Yahoo Sports and things along those lines. So we'll just kind of go from there. It's pretty simple when you think about it like that, but also very complicated too. But that's all I have for right now. A lot of information, but also not, in a sense, like a lot of information for one big thing, and then a little bit here and there. So news will trickle in the coming weeks. Enjoy. If I don't see you guys or make a video between now and Christmas, have a nice Christmas, have a nice Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, whatever the case could be. Enjoy the New Year's if, again, a video's not out before then. So just enjoy the holiday season. I know I will. You guys do too. Be safe. Weather, I mean, in the northern plains, you are getting smacked with snow the last couple of days. And I do not envy my family in Davenport, Iowa right now. So either way, you guys stay safe out there. I love and appreciate you. If you want to like, comment, share, subscribe, neat. If you don't, neat. We just move on. But until then, I'll see you guys in off-season update number 5 as we, again, move ever so closely to the 2026 season. Until then, I'll see you guys in the next one. See ya.